Hello everyone, I am Tara the Fox, and let's play Disturbed. Now, Disturbed is a sort of like a visual novel, and it's a pretty short game, but I do kind of like it. Some of the drawings are pretty nice and pretty cool to look at, and also, the best part about this game, it's free. You don't pay a single penny for it. At least assuming it is still free. I've been told it's been free for quite a while, so I imagine it still is. So, without further ado, let us begin. Another dull day passes as you struggle to manage your failing farm. Your crops are beginning to wilt, and your cow is sick. For some time, the land has been very quiet. The air has grown thick and foul. Each passing day you feel more uncertain if things will ever return to how they were before. Perhaps it is up to you. You've made up your mind. You are going to do something about it. You stand in front of your humble home, pondering what you should do next. Alrighty, so we got a list of options. And so the point of this game is pretty much not to die. And there are many ways to die. But first and foremost, there is a shed. Let's check it out. You attempt to open the shed door, but the door won't open. You remember locking it some time ago, but you can't remember what you did with the key. Well, crap. Can't go into the shed. How about the house? Entering the house, you feel a subtle uneasiness, as if the growing blight outside has penetrated the walls of your safe haven. From what you see, however, everything is the same as you left it. Perhaps this may be a good time to just lay in bed and wish that your problems will just go away. You fight the notion, but the temptation is still there. Alrighty, so we have a nice list of options to choose from. Let's go ahead and read our journal real quick. Dear Journal, another usual day on the farm. The crops are growing with good health. Bethane is also doing quite well, never disappointed with the milk she provides. If things continue to go well, I may be able to invest in more animals. A farmer can only be so social with a cow. Dear Journal, today has been an unfortunate day. Somebody broke into my shed and stole some things. I usually don't mind if someone steals a bite to eat from the garden, but to take my equipment? Well, I put a lock on the door and hid the key. Nobody will ever get into my stuff again. Dear Journal, I awoke one night to a foul smell I have never come across before. I took a step outside to see what I could find, but I found nothing after searching about the farm. Whatever it is, it must be bad. I should make a trip into the city to see what this is about. Blah. So, things are happening at the farm, it seems. Not too good of a thing. Next, let's open our chest. Let's see what's inside. You open the chest and find nothing more than a pile of papers. It seems you have less valuables than you anticipated. You close the chest. Alright, so the next option would obviously be to lay in bed. However, this gives you a death scene and a game over. And so, we don't want that. And without further ado, let's head back outside. You stand in front of your humble home, pondering what you should do next. Well, we've gone to the shed, we've went to the house. Let's check out the crops. How are they doing today? A path divides the crops you have labored so hard to prosper these past months. A penetrating odor reminds you that your plants are decaying away, and time is running short. Let's go into the pen. Let's check it out. A toxic fume burns your nose as you enter the pen. Your poor cow lays lifeless on the ground as a growing blight slowly begins to consume her body. You feel sick to your stomach as you stand here, especially as you stare at the black mushrooms that dot the ground. Alright. If you grab a mushroom, you'll actually get infected with what the cow was affected, and of course you'll get another death cutscene. And so, again, we're going to avoid that and instead inspect the water. You inspect the water, looking for anything abnormal. You notice that the water has a dark consistency to it. Dropping a stone into it, black particles from the bottom swirl about like a thunderstorm. Your face shrivels in disgust. And let us leave the pen. And time is running short, blah blah blah. Now, let us follow the path. You continue down the trail for a while until you see a cave off in the distance. You pause, questioning if there could be something helpful in here. So we are given two options. Continue down the path or go into the cave. Go into the cave is an automatic death trap. You get another death cutscene, which we shall avoid, and continue down the path. You come to a stop as you stumble upon a broken wagon. Let's inspect the wagon. You look about the mess and find bits of food and clothes scattered about the scene. You notice a key on the ground during your search. You pick up the key and continue on your way. Sweet, we got a key. After what felt like an hour or two, you reach a bridge. Nearby the path is a small shack, similar to the house you have on the farm. The man that lives here is a kind fellow from what you recall. Maybe he is home? Well, it wouldn't hurt to inspect the shack. You know, maybe we could have an ally who would help us out during this crazy time of strange events. You walk toward the structure and knock on the door. You scratch the back of your head, figuring out that the person that lives here is currently occupied, if not elsewhere. You remember picking up a key from the wagon and you use it on the door. The door unlocks. You decide to help yourself in. Observing the empty room, you realize something terrible must have taken place here. The room is a wreck, just like the wagon. You are overcome with fear as you think of the man that used to dwell here. Luckily, there happens to be a book on the table, so let us take a sneak peek. I wonder if it's a porno. Ah! You pick up the book and start to flip through the pages. You discover that it is a journal. Darn it. Reading a passage or two can't hurt. Today's trading went smoothly. Thank goodness. What I am thrilled most about, however, is one of my buddies mentioned to me at the conclusion of our day. Apparently there is a pond nearby that has some of the biggest fish in the region. With a good catch, I can make enough to move things forward. I was caught off guard when he mentioned that nobody has been able to catch any from there. I guess your typical fishing rod won't do the trick. But what can be done about it then? Something to be intrigued about, I suppose. These past couple weeks have been really rough for me. My trading business has gone under and I have lost nearly everything I own. This has pushed me to extremes, but that can't be helped now. I am leaving this place forever, never to return. The land is dying and there is nothing but darkness here. Anyone reading this should leave while they can. You can't find a name to give this man, but regardless of the name, you got chills running down your spine. So, he's noticing strange stuff is happening too, and he decides to peace out. But look, there is a trapdoor. Let us open it. You observe the trapdoor and notice a lock keeping it closed. With the key, you unlock the hatch and get it open. Without thinking, you travel downward. Walking down the steps leading below, the air attacks your body with a piercing cold. You notice immediately that there is a woman chained to the wall. She doesn't seem to notice you as you study her. You feel darkness surround you as you stay in this awful place. Let's talk to the woman. You tremble as you try to form words in your mouth. You there! Let me out of here! The pressure of such a demand makes you freeze. You take a moment to think about the situation before you respond. What got you locked up to begin with? You'll never believe me even if I told you the truth. Something brought you here. Please, have mercy on me. Well, she's pleading for her life. However, we can't help but feel a very dark presence in here. So, normally the wise choice would be free the woman. She could help us, maybe carry supplies or something like that. But nope, it's another death scene and we shall skip that and humbly decline. I will not. No! Don't go! With nothing else to interact with, you make your way up the stairs. As you exit, you can hear the woman laugh behind you. The voice causes the shack to shake. Ugh. You leave the shack as fast as you could. Let's see. You leave the shack and cross the bridge before something bad happens. So, needless to say, we were right on the money saying that she wasn't a very nice person. You cross the bridge safely and continue down the trail. After all that has happened, you feel that you should take a moment to rest. You find a spot under a tree and sit down, getting comfortable. You tilt your head back against the tree and gaze into the sky. Now, we have an option of taking a nap or pick at the grass. If you pick at the grass, you get another death cutscene and you're dead. So, which is kind of weird. I thought taking a nap would give you the death cutscene, but nope, taking a nap is the correct choice. Your eyes close and your body relaxes. You fall asleep within seconds. As your mind wanders, you see a blurry image. Details emerge as you gaze. You wonder who this might be. A bad feeling then overcomes you, and you realize who this is. You try to wake yourself up. You wake up and jump to your feet, looking about yourself and your surroundings. All seems well. You can't help but feel fearful that something bad will happen to you if you stay here. Moving forward seems like the only logical option now. You reach a point where the trail splits into two paths. Which way should you go? Now, the best way to go right now is to the right, but let's go to the left for some information. After continuing down the path for some time, you come to a stop. You notice that there is some sort of a trail that leads through the grass up toward a nearby hill. If you had not stopped, you probably would have never noticed. Which way do you go? So you get two options, or three technically, but you can follow the trail in the grass or continue down the path. For now, let's continue down the path. You walk for some time to find an endless field of grass. There is a stone well near the path. Let's inspect the well. You peer down the well. Other than the evident water at the bottom, there is a coin resting against the wall of the well. If possible, you feel you should go down and take the coin. Well, unfortunately, if we take the coin now, we get another death cutscene and we'd be dead. So for now, we're gonna leave it. Perhaps you may attain the coin later. You step away from the well. And we shall continue on with the path. Walking over hills of grass and grain, you reach the walls of Aramor. Several times a year, you come here to trade goods from the farm. You discover the plague that has spread to your farm has also spread all the way out here. The path before you is overrun with blight. Now, if you continue across, you'll get another death cutscene and die. So, and there's nothing to do over here, unfortunately. So, it's kind of just like a little filler, I suppose. So, back we go. You realize that you must go back. There is no way to reach the city. Fill the stone well through the path, and we shall go back to the tall grass. And follow the tall grass and follow the tail of the grass, whatever. Following the subtle trail in the grass, you stumble upon what looks like a grave. Inspect the grave. You approach the grave. You look at the sword with intrigue. Whoa. Before you can touch the sword, a ghostly figure appears before you. You freeze before the apparition. The sword. May I have it? The blade is cursed. I am bound here by the pain of my past. If you desire the sword, free me from it. You slowly motion for the sword. Fool! Only something of pure essence can free me. A rare hope, like a flower found in darkness. And so, as he said, we cannot free him. And if you try to grab the sword, you die. So for now, we're going to back away from the sword. You listen to the specter and leave the sword. The figure fades out of view. And so with that, we continue on the path. You pause to see that there is a lake nearby. The trail continues on to your right. Wouldn't hurt to inspect the lake. You step near the lake and look down into it. Resting underwater is an orb of some sort, sitting on the bottom of the lake. There is something strange about it, as if it were calling out to you. Now, right now, if we dive in, we would die. So for now, we leave. Now is probably not the time. You pause to see that there is a lake nearby. The trail continues on to your right. And so, let us continue on. The faint trail comes to an end. There is a collection of stone pillars down the hill. Beyond the hill is a large field of grass. Let's explore the field. You find yourself gazing over a grass field with hills rolling off into the distance. As if a trick upon your eyes, you see a unicorn run across the field. It disappears out of sight before you can do anything. Surely the unique powers of a unicorn can help you with your quest, but there is clearly something wrong. If only there was a way to charm it. The faint trail comes to an end. Okay, we read that. Time to inspect the stone pillars. You stand before the large stones, arranged in the shape of a circle. In the center is a stone with what appears to be some sort of slot or hole. No doubt about it, something is meant to be placed here. Seeing that you can't do anything, you head back. And so that is the end for the left side of the path. Oops. Let's keep going back. And keep going back to split path. And let us head on to the right. You reach the end of the pathway. In the distance is a tower looking over the area. A gate secures passage to the area with a wall around the property. Also of interest, there is a tree that has a hole carved into it. Well, we normally want to inspect the tree, but let us check out the gate first. You approach the gate cautiously. And let us enter. Standing before the tower, your heart begins to sink. This is no doubt the birthplace of the spreading plague. There is a fountain before you with statues on your right and left. Let us enter the tower. You approach the door. As you reach for the doorknob, an invisible barrier stops you. It must be some sort of magic. Well, we can't enter the tower just yet, so let's inspect the fountain. There is a dark haze about the fountain. The water is black and the smell burns with every breath. You feel a slight pull toward the fountain, as if it were calling for something. Inspect the statue on the left. You see an old statue of an angel that has been consumed by vines and thorn. The angel is holding a book in one hand and the other with one finger pointed up toward the sky. You feel it best to leave the statue alone. So, that was the left statue. Let's check out the right one. Before you stand an old angel statue that has broke in many areas. With one hand, the angel is holding some sort of bowl, while the other hand is hovering over the bowl. You notice that there is only 2 remaining fingers on the angel's other hand. You feel you should keep your distance and just observe the statue. So, according to this game, the statues are just flavor text. There's nothing really to do about them, so you never have to worry about them. But since that's it for this area, let's exit to the gated area. And inspect the tree. You approach the tree and notice the hole is big enough to fit your hand in it. You look and see something shiny in the hole as if it were metal. Filling around with your hand, you find 3 knobs. One on the right, one centered in the middle, and one on the left. Let us press the knobs. So when I first played this, I kind of thought we'd had to find a puzzle for this, but nope, this is pretty much just you guessing around and hopefully you get the right one. Which luckily for me, I know which one's the right one. You press right the first time, right again, and then left for the 3rd time. The knobs lock in place. You hear the rumbling of rocks as the ground starts to shift underneath you. Everything goes dark and you sink below the surface. The hole above you seals up, trapping you underground. You find yourself with no evident way out, but the path before you into the darkness. Your only choice is to move forward. You see 3 separate paths within the walls of the cavern. Which path do you choose? And with that, let me save real quick. Yes, please. And return. And so, let us take the right. The passageway divides before you. Where do you go? Let's see. I believe it is to the right. No, not to the right. The passageway soon ends with an enlarged mushroom sitting in front of you. A steady river of water flows between you and the mushroom. Alright, if we inspect the mushroom, we die. So, we shall go back. Alright, go to the left. You walk forward into the dark, unsure of what lies beyond. 2 paths you may go. Which do you choose? Let's see. I'm gonna go right. Yep, this is one of them. As you make your way forward, you discover a large cavern. An old-looking ship rests against the edge of the lake, with debris scattered about the surrounding area. Let us inspect the ship. You cautiously walk down toward the ship. The air is chilling, and you fear it won't be a good idea to stay too long. The possibility of discovering something that can help you drives you to explore. You climb aboard the ship. As you take a moment to observe your surroundings, you are only welcomed by the trickle of water brushing against the wood of the ship. You move about to see where you can go. Every footstep you take feels heavy as you hear the sound of wood cracking under your feet. You feel the ship has been here for quite some time. You explore under the deck of the ship. Nothing but the sound of your footsteps bounce about the structure of the ship. From one room to another, you come to discover a kitchen. Although there is nothing unique about it, you feel you should take a moment to inspect it. Well, let us inspect the drawers. You pull one out after another, finding that they have been emptied. Dust spreads about the air as you disturb the rest. Checking underneath, you discover a rusty knife resting on the floor. You find that there are plenty of hardened rat droppings dotting the edge of the wall. You take the knife in hopes that you may defend yourself with it. Very important, defending yourself. Let us inspect the oven. You see a lone pot resting upon a dusty stovetop. You gaze downward and open the oven door. Nothing but ash fill the oven chambers. You close the oven door. And with that, we move on. You continue your lonely tour of the ship, only to find that there is nothing of use or value. You make your way back to the deck and decide to continue your search. Again, you find nothing but empty rooms, left to remain in dark solitude. You discover a door with fancy markings about the woodwork. Perhaps this is where the captain resided. You discover the room of the captain. Unlike the other parts of the ship, everything seems to have been left alone in this room. Before you rest an old wooden desk with papers and assumed belongings of the captain. There's a small bed off near the corner of the room and some chairs in the other. You have a feeling deep down that you shouldn't take anything, other than the lamp and other objects. There is a small stack of papers in contrast to a lone paper resting by itself. Approaching the desk, you begin to inspect the papers resting on the desk. Well, let's take a look at those stack of papers. Peering about the pages of this collective pile of documents, you realize that most of these are personal notes or journal entries. You pick a few and begin to read. Day 7. The voyage has gone quite smooth as we begin our second week away from home. The spirits of the men are high as we anticipate the discovery of new lands that lie beyond our documented knowledge. It has been my dream to accomplish something world-changing. Together, we move forward with full hearts and unbreakable spirits. Day 66 has been just over 2 months out of sea, and we have yet to discover anything new. We have suffered through many storms, and sickness has plagued the ship recently. Several of my favored crew have passed on to the next life. I see the growing doubt in the eyes of my fellow laborers as our voyage continues day after day. Food rations have been cut in half in fears that we might have to turn back. I dare not let myself think of failure. Those men who have lost their lives, the sacrifices to make this voyage possible, I cannot let them be in vain. Day 91 is come to roughly 3 months out here on the endless blue. With much pain we have turned around. Yes, we are headed for home port. We have just enough food to make it back. I just hope we have a smooth journey back. The spirits of the crew are low and bitter due to our failure. I do not let myself get caught up in thinking of it. Truly, we did not intend for this to happen. So, it looks like on their way back they might have had to make a stop and unfortunately met their demise over here. Or something of the sort. Let's check out the loan document. Notice to the crew. Due to our unexpected predicament, everyone is being split up into groups of 2 and 3. Scouting assignments will be given until we find a more habitable place to settle. For now, we must do what we can. Ah, so that just proves further this theory that they got stuck in here or had to rest for a while, but unfortunately they never left. Seeing that there is little left to see, you take your leave. The wood under your feet crackle as you exit the vessel. You make your way back to where the tunnel divides. Let's see, and I believe we go to the left. You move forward into the darkness. You see 3 separate paths within the walls of the cavern. Which path do you choose? And now that we're done with the right, let us go to the middle one. Now that especially we picked up a knife, that can be very, very useful. You cautiously step forward into the darkness. You come to a divide. Which way do you go? Let us go to the right. You hear a subtle echo of shifting rocks before you. An eye appears before you as its gaze pierces the darkness. Before you can do anything, tentacles burst from the ground and grip your body. It pulls you about, but you resist as much as you can. You remember the knife you have found and struggle to bring it out. With success, you hold the knife and begin to cut away the appendages that bind you. The room vibrates as you do cut. Oh, little mistypo right here. Okay. The room vibrates as you do cut, and the creature immediately leaves you alone. It takes you a moment to catch your breath. You come to a divide. Which way do you go? Let's see, and I believe you go to the right. Aha. The path you walk comes to an end. Before you shines a pillar of light. The light rests on a corpse that seems to have been here for quite some time. Near the corpse stands a lone flower. Hey, didn't the sword guy kind of mention that in a filled area of darkness there is hope? Perhaps a flower? Huh? For some reason you feel hope. Hey, enter your area as you gaze upon the flower. Surely this flower will ease the pain of the specter. You approach the flower and carefully pluck it from the ground. There's something special about this flower. Isn't it pretty? Light continues to pierce through the darkness from an opening above. Surely this gives you some hope that all is not lost. Seeing that there is nothing else for you here, you turn around. You come to a divide. Which way do you go? And so with that, I believe we go left. And we're back to the 3 areas. And so, with right and forward out of the question now, let us go to the left. Let's see. For this, I believe if you choose left, you end up going back to the 3 areas, or 3 cave areas, whichever they're called. But I believe you go to the right is what the correct way you want to go. You struggle forward as the way before you becomes completely dark. You notice that there is a light off in the distance, and you continue to make your way forward. Eventually, you make it into some sort of concrete room. Turning around, you see a hole in the wall where you came from. Your guess is that it wasn't part of the initial design. You turn around to see a door. There being little to nothing in the room, you decide to move on through the doorway. You find yourself in what looks like a basement. You turn about to discover that in each direction there is a door. Boxes of supplies and debris litter the floor and corners of the room. You notice that there are several markings on the door and floor, some of which scare you. You got a bad feeling about this place. So, let us inspect the supplies. Maybe we'll find something useful. You walk about the room, browsing through the dust-covered storage. You find some rope in one of the boxes. It feels strong to the touch and has minimal wear. You decide to take the rope. Nice, we found some rope. But let us check out the door to the right. You enter a small room. There is a large cauldron in the center of the room with wood resting beneath. There is nothing on the shelves, as if someone cleaned this place out. You look into the pot, but find nothing in it. With nothing else to see, you exit the room. Alright, every time I play this game, I found no use for this room. It's just flavor text, so that's the only thing I can figure out from that room. Let's see. And if you take to the door on the left, there's a big open hole in it, and it'll actually take you back to the 3 cave areas, but that's not where we want to go. And we're going to ignore the middle door right now, because if we go in right now, we are going to die. So we'll ignore it for now. So that leaves us with one choice. Enter the door behind you. You walk up the steps. You enter a large room. The air is polluted with dust and spiderweb cover the walls and ceiling. Where should you go now? Let's see. We can head upstairs, downstairs, which is technically back to the room we just left from. We go to the far door or go outside. If you go to the far door right now, we will die, so we're going to ignore that. But let's head upstairs right now. You discover what looks like a private library. There is a passageway before you with bookcases on the left and right. Alright, it wouldn't hurt to take a look at the books. Reading is fun. You take a moment to look at the books. Some of them catch your eye. Rituals of the Ancients. You flip around until something grabs your attention. Pillars of Stone. Years before current times, there were unique religious practices that revolved the Stonehenge. It is said that these stones are lined up in a special way and often organized in a circular pattern. Organizing the stones this way unlocks an ancient power researchers still have trouble understanding. In the middle of the circle would be a stone or two for the keystone to rest on. This is the great mystery of this ancient practice. From ancient records, it is written that the energies from the surrounding stones channel the power into the keystone. You stop reading because the next page of the book has been torn out. Huh. Anyone remember a certain stone hedge that kind of looks circular? However, it needs like a key or stone in the middle. We have no idea what that is just yet. But as we move on with the game, we'll find out eventually. Let's see. Deception by music. Here's a bent page marking a section of the book. You turn to it. The art of drumming is not necessarily limited to the instrument, but how the musician goes about playing a given instrument. Some are definitely easier to use than others, and for a skill such as this, there are a few instruments recommended. The harp is one of these recommended instruments. From vicious dogs to shy unicorns, the soothing voice of the harp can calm the troubled heart. Of course, not all creatures can fall for this simple trick, but can mean the difference between life and death in some situations. Now we've seen a unicorn, but vicious dogs? Oh boy, yet to see one, but maybe in the future we might? A forgotten power. Flipping through the pages, there's one in particular that has ink markings all over it. Raw energy is a power substance not to be trifled with. It is merely myth that such energies exist. One does not simply stumble upon a pillar of godly power. Even if such a fate is yours, bare hands cannot contain the force. It must be bent and channeled into a specially crafted vessel to carry it. There have been accounts across time of individuals possessing such power. Although they pass away as sand, their relics of power remain as powerful artifacts that nations around the world would fight for. And with that, we can take our leave. And let us move forward. You walk up more stairs. You pause as you notice a stone carving of a person praying that is attached to the wall. There is something odd about it, but you can't put your finger on it. With caution, you you continue up the stairs. I'm great at reading, can you tell? You enter a strange room with a large globe centered about the room. There are windows that let the light shine through. You notice that there is a chest resting against the wall to the right. You also notice that there is another passageway like the previous room. Well, let us open the chest. We like nice things. Approaching the chest, you notice there is a lock fastened to it. With no key to unlock the chest, you decide to leave it alone. Well, darn. Well, let's inspect the globe. You study the globe attached to the floor surface. The craft is made of metal, and there is fine detail to the grooves. There are various markings and names scattered across the globe. It takes you a moment, but you find a marking of where you are. Aramor. You notice there are some hand-drawn markings within the area, made with black ink. There must be something close by that has interested the author of these markings. To add to the mystery, there are similar markings on other areas around the globe. So there are strange markings, and we read that someone's been making markings in some books and other areas. Well, let us continue forward. You climb the stairs to find a wall ending your path. Above the end of the stairway is a hatch. Now, let us open the hatch. You open the hatch and you pull yourself up. You have made it to the top of the tower. Before you is a stone of power, resting upon an altar of rock. Dark vines have entangled the structure as if they were feeding off the energies of the stone. Your body begins to tremble as you stand before the stone. You definitely feel weaker being up here, as if the stone is sapping away your energy. Well, if we tried to destroy the stone, we'd die. Because as the book said, we cannot bear it with our own hands. We have to get a artifact of some sort to transfer the power into it. So, we shall leave the stone for now. You turn and begin to exit through the hatch. To your surprise, you find it difficult to focus. You suddenly fall down through the hatch. It closing behind you. You hit on your head and tumble down the stairs like a rag doll. Oh, with a broken neck, you struggle to live only to die moments later. Oh! I did not know you could die right there. My adventure ends here. Oh, well, crap. I was hoping to do this in one run, but, I guess I'm going to make some edits. Crap. I'll be back. Alrighty, we're back. I have not gone through the door yet, so, we're gonna go back and just leave that alone. I had no idea you could die right there. I thought if you leave, you'd just be fine, but apparently not. Whoops. Learn something new. You enter a strange... Oh, yeah. We already read this. We don't care. So, seems like we can't do anything for now. So let us head back downstairs. Keep going down. So we went upstairs, and downstairs again lead us to our previous area. Go to the far door right now, we would die, and so let us go outside. And let's get out of here. We'll come back to it. But for now, we have things to do. Let's see, let's go to the trail in the grass. Let us inspect the grave. So the ghost appears before us, and without hesitation, you reach for the flower to give to the spirit. The spirit grabs the flower from your hand as you extend it to him. You feel a subtle breeze blow by as the figure fades away with the flower. A faint whisper dances about the air. I am free at last. You feel a sense of relief within you and reach for the sword. You now wield the special sword. Sweet, we got a sword. Let us continue on. You pause to see that there is a lake nearby. The trail continues on to your right. Now that we have the sword, the special kind, we can inspect the lake. You step near the lake and look down into it, and we find an orb. There's something strange about it, as if calling to you. And now we can dive in. You close your eyes and jump into the lake. You open your eyes to see the stone sitting before you. You start to make your way toward it. And this is why you want the special sword, because he will just immediately kill you and then you die. But luckily, we won't need to worry about that. A large fish comes into view. It quickly notices you with its mouth open. Oh, I really have a hard time reading right now. It quickly notices you with its mouth stretched open. You grab your sword and hold it close, pointed at the fish. The fish swims at you with haste. Just as it gets in range, you thrust the sword into the top of the mouth. The sword penetrates and goes through the forehead of the fish. It struggles about in pain as blood filters through the water. You pull the sword out and the fish retreats out of sight. You doubt it will live long. With the fish no longer a threat, you make your way to the orb. Holding it in your hands, you feel it vibrate as if there is energy inside it trying to break loose. This must be important. You exit the lake with the orb in your possession. You pause to see that there is a lake nearby. The trail continues on to your right. And so, we just normally got out here just to get the sword and the orb. And with that, we shall go back to the right of the split path. Oh, actually, I forgot one very important thing, actually. I almost forgot. Go back to the left. But, we won't follow the trail in the grass. We shall continue down the path. And there is a well. And as you recall, we went through some supplies and we found some rope. So the way you die in this is that eventually you tumble down into it and there's like no way out, so you end up kind of drowning. But with some rope, we should be able to go on in and be safe and sound. You lean over the edge of the well. There is no possible way you can attain the coin by reaching for it. With this in mind, you turn and climb down along the inner wall of the well. Wait, did I not get the rope? Did I not get the rope? Oh, this is a marvelous run, isn't it? It's marvelous, it's marvelous. I'm just showing how stupid I am. I'll be back. Okay, we are back. With the rope this time, because I forgot to pick it up last time when I had to cut. But this time we had the rope, and this time we're going to do this right and grab the coin. You pull out the rope you found earlier and fasten it to the well. That was supposed to happen last time. You climb down with ease and obtain the coin. You struggle to pull yourself up and out of the well, but you do so successfully. You then loosen the rope and start away. You feel somewhat satisfied that you are 1 coin richer. Yeah. Let's see. Now let's go back to the split path. I was hoping to make this a really smooth video, but it looks like, again, I'm going to make some edits. So annoying. But hey, we got the coin, and this pal fountain is asking for something. Well, let's grab that pretty coin and make a wish. You pull out the coin you found and toss it into the water off of the fountain. The coin disappears with a subtle splash. The water then fizzles for a moment, quickly returning into a lifeless state. Surely this must mean something. And without further ado, let us enter the tower. Alright, now that we have the special sword, we can go to the far door. The store struggles to move, but you enter into what appears to be a spider's den. The air is thick and the room is a mess of web and body parts. You notice that there are a couple items in the room that could be useful. If nothing else, there is a key on the ground that you will no doubt need. Before you can even act, a large spider falls from above. You have no doubt that it is hungry. Even though there's like a body right there. I mean, go eat that, dude, seriously. Without hesitating, the spider attacks you. You pull out your sword and stab the spider as it lunges at you. Over and over again, you stab the monster. Each time it squeals in pain. The spider flees into the darkness overhead. You hear it motioning about, possibly to strike again. You notice the key on the ground close by your feet. Before more trouble happens, you quickly grab the key and make it for the door. You feel you got what you need. There's no reason to go back in that room again. So, when I first tried this, I thought I could use the knife on that spider. All it does is that you can attack it once, but it's like completely unfazed and you end up dying. So, yeah, kind of a waste. You have to have the special sword. But let us move upstairs. Let us move forward. And we happen to acquire a key. Oh, a key? To open a chest? No way. With the key you found earlier, you try it out on the lock. The lock clicks loose and you open the chest. You discover a small wooden harp resting on linen cloth. Hey, a harp! You take the harp and close the chest. Well, we read a book saying that it can charm vicious dogs and unicorns. Now, we've seen unicorns, but vicious dogs? I did not mean to go outside. We are going to head back into the area with a lot of doors. And now, without further ado, let's check out this creepy area. Claw marks. Ugh. So creepy. But now, we can enter the middle door. It's time for us to enter the middle. You enter a room full of metal cages. Before you is a hallway marked with questionable markings. You don't like the feeling you have about this place. Whatever was in these cages surely did not like being locked up. You notice that there is an animal in the cage to the left of the room, but from the dark stains on its fur, it is dead. Aw, so sad. You cautiously walk down the hallway, entering a room with 2 cell doors. Uh-oh. Before you can do anything, a large hound leaps in front of you. The beast doesn't look very vicious, but one wrong move can surely be the end of you. You pull out the harp and begin to pluck at the strings. The hound begins to wag its tail. Okay. To your surprise, the beast walks away as if it were charmed by the harp. You never gave it much thought how powerful music can be. So, if you use a knife or a sword, you will be able to hit it, but it'll still end up killing you in the long run. So, it has to be a harp, unfortunately. So, let's check out the right door. Or cell door, I should say. You enter the cell on the right. You see a wooden table on the side, some debris at the floor, and a large hole in the corner of the room. Seeing nothing special, you motion toward the hole. You discover a passageway underground. Unfortunately, all you can see is fallen rock blocking the way through. Seeing that there is little you can do, you go back where you came. Well, there's nothing in that right door. How about the left? You open the door to find a skeleton positioned in the corner of the room. There is also a bed and some chains attached to the wall. You have no doubt this individual was locked up for a long time. Inspecting the skeleton, you notice a ring on one of the bone fingers. There is a faint glow of light emanating from the ring, as if it were magical. You may find such a ring useful. Indeed, we will. You take the ring and put it on with a perfect fit. Hey, you know what they say. If it fits, it's yours, baby. Seeing that there is nothing of interest here, we leave the cell. Or, you leave the cell. I guess it is we, technically. You are following me along this fabulous journey. And so, I believe that is everything for this area. We have no reason to come back here. And since we acquired a ring, we are going to head out and go to the left side of the split path. Go left. Let's see. It's in the trail grass, I believe. Yeah, it's in the trail grass. Continue on. Almost chose to inspect grave, but it's like we already did that, so we don't care. The faint trail comes to an end. There is a collection of stone pillars down the hill, blah 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 blah. But first, let's explore the field. You find yourself gazing over a grass field with hills rolling off into the distance. As if a trick upon your eyes, you see a unicorn run across the field. It disappears out of sight before you can do anything. Unsure what is going on, you think of a way to tame the beast. You suddenly remember the harp you found earlier. With the harp in hand, you pluck the strings. The soothing calm comes over you as you listen. The unicorn comes into view and stops before you. The unicorn glares at you, and you begin to hear a faint voice in your head. Human, have ear for my words. A great evil has gripped these lands, and it has rendered me powerless. You must find some way to stop it. I wish I could help you, but without my full power, I can do little. The fate of this land depends on you. Before you could speak, the unicorn turns and runs off again. You realize that you are alone to complete this quest of yours. This is no longer about saving your farm. You must save the whole land from the spreading darkness. You turn back as you question what you should do next. Alright, without further ado, let's inspect the stone pillars. You stand before the... blah 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 blah. Now we place the orb from the lake we found nearby. As it says right here, you place the orb into the slot carved into the center rock. The stones that surround you begin to glow. The light radiates and grows brighter. So it looks like the orb from the lake was what was the key in activating these stone hedges. Excellent. With a flash of light, your surroundings change. The ground no longer is grass. The newly discovered floor appears to be very old, as if crafted by somebody long ago. Rubble and stone near the edges of the platform also hint that this is an ancient place. Looking onward, at the end of the pathway is a fountain of light. There seems to be no beginning or end, and endless power is steadily flowing. You are amazed at such a sight. Now, we recently picked up a ring, and if we did not have that ring, if we approached the light, we would die. But we have the ring, and so let us approach the light. The light intrigues you, and you walk toward it. Rays of light brush you as if they are seeking to break away from its home. You remember the ring you have found and point it toward the light. Your hand trembles as light flows into it. Before you can think, the ring begins to burn and you stumble back. Light shines brightly from the ring. You notice a subtle warmth to it as you observe. You feel that you accomplished what you must do here. You pick up the orb. With the orb back in your possession, you walk back toward the trail. So, now we have the power! And guess what we're going to do with the power? Guess. We're going to defeat the evil with it. If you didn't guess defeat the evil, then I'm sorry, viewer, but that's kind of silly not to have guessed that. So we're gonna just go through this whole entire area, go back these stairs, move forward, and we didn't get any dialogue through those stairs, surprisingly, which I found rather interesting. But enough talk. We must move forward and stop this evil. Open the hatch. And apparently if you open this hatch, you die unless you meet the requirements. Let's see. It is taking our strength, but this time we're going to choose Destroy the Stone! You stretch forth your fist and point the ring at the stone like a green lantern. You can feel a resistance, as if the stone is trying to defend itself. You try to keep hope and focus on the ring. A burst of light shoots out from the ring, penetrating to the stone. I shout, in the darkest day, in the darkest nights, and however the rest of that mumbo jumbo goes. You feel the very air shake about. The ground beneath your feet begins to vibrate. The ring becomes heavier to hold in place, but you know that it is working. You feel confidence and a sense of joy sweep over you. The light intensifies, nearly blinding you. The ground beneath you shakes violently, as if the tower itself was trying to stop you. What little fear in you becomes powerless as you focus on your task. Everything goes white, blinding you completely. A weird sensation comes over you, and you feel as light as a feather. You begin to feel a tingling sensation all over your body as you hone your senses. The feeling suddenly flees your body, and you find yourself motionless. Everything is cold, and your ability to concentrate begins to leave you. You open your eyes, witnessing what is left of the tower. You begin to feel something. Warmth. Light. It is coming back. You lack the strength to talk as the unicorn comes into view. Light emanates from the horn on its head. All you can do is smile as the creature approaches. The light intensifies. You may have saved the land, but the unicorn has come to save you. Your adventure does not end here. And with that, we get one of two endings of Disturbed. Yes, there are actually two endings, which is kind of interesting for this game. The only difference between the two is one of them you talk to the play your harp and talk to the unicorn, and the other one you don't interact with the unicorn at all. Well, by interact I mean don't play the harp. So let's check out that ending and see how that one differs. And hold on just one moment, I'll be right back with that. Alrighty, here we are again with the second ending. I did not talk to the unicorn and have the unicorn say, "Hey, save the freaking world, you dummy." So, let us see what happens when we ignore the unicorn. Darkest day and the blackest nights. Or is it blackest days and darkest nights? I really don't care for the Green Lantern, so that's why I'm botching up this saying pretty badly. A burst of light shoots out from the ring, penetrating the stone. You feel the very air shake about. The ground beneath your feet begins to vibrate. The ring becomes heavier to hold in place, but you know that it is working. You feel confidence as a sense of joy sweep over you. The light intensifies, nearly blinding you. The ground beneath you shakes violently, as if the tower itself was trying to stop you. What little fear in you becomes powerless as you focus on your task. Everything goes white, blinding you completely. A weird sensation comes over you, and you feel as light as a feather. You begin to feel a tingling sensation all over your body as you hone your senses. The feeling suddenly flees your body, and you find yourself motionless. Everything is cold, and your ability to concentrate begins to leave you. You open your eyes, witnessing what is left of the tower. Even though your adventure ends here, you accomplished what you set out to do. It is finished. So, a more of a darker ending, saying that you died in that final battle. So, needless to say, the best ending is the unicorn ending, because it does save your life in the long run. But very interesting ending dialogues. Like, the worst ending says, this game is finished, and yeah, we're done. Whereas in the best ending with the unicorn, it kind of says, but you are not finished with your adventures just yet. But that can also be interpreted as a living type of thing, you know. Every time you die, it does says your adventures end here, and so with the bad one, it's kind of just referring to that, whereas the good one's referring to, like, yeah, you're obviously not dead, so yeah, your adventures are going to continue on, obviously. But really nice details to that, and a lot of drawings to this is really, really cool. I do believe these are hand-drawn, if not, they're very nicely done digitally. But yeah, very nice. I think it's a nice, simple little game. It's also for free. Don't have to pay a penny for it. But yeah, it's a nice little time waster if you just want to sit down, have fun, and even explore the death scenes if you want. I didn't want to bother with that because that's just might be too much. But anyway, that's it for this LP. I am Tara the Fox. You have been the viewer, and I hope to see you next time.